Watch this video until the end to learn 11 stunning facts about why India could become the world's next giant. Number 1. Large population. We all know that a growing population means more mouths to feed every day. This will result in a significant increase in poverty. However, contrary to Malthusian theory, a big population, particularly one dominated by youth, becomes the country's most important asset in terms of overall expansion. Because 52% of the population is under the age of 30, the country will have a large workforce that can do labor and become a valuable consumer base in the future. According to India Express, the next 25 years will be the country's golden age. Remember how the same thing happened in Japan when its people were young? However, this does open the door to unemployment. Number 2. Manufacturing hub. India opens the door to a massive employment opportunity to enhance people's lives while also utilizing labor. Apple is currently shifting the manufacture of the next iPhone 14 to India while moving some production away from China and other nations. Talk about Samsung, the Korean business that has opted to start manufacturing its premium category department in India to fill an empty spot in the local market. The Galaxy Z Fold 5 and Flip 5 will be manufactured in India. It's become the world's second largest production facility of Samsung in Noida. But wait, there's more. Toshiba, Siemens, Boeing, and Kia have all expressed interest in expanding their operations in India. With money falling from the sky due to great employment opportunities, a large workforce will undoubtedly increase the nation's economic success. Number 3. Revamping as exporters. India has long been regarded for being a significant resource importer rather than an export-heavy nation, but now things have changed. According to the Ministry of Defense's report, which was released on April 1st, the nation's export of weapons has doubled in the year 2022-23 as compared to 2016-17. It currently supplies weapons to 85 countries. Even exports of electronic items surged in May 2023 compared to May 2022 by 73.96%. The nation's exports as a whole have recently climbed by almost 6%, reaching a record high of $447 billion, particularly in the chemical, marine, petroleum, and pharmaceutical industries. Do you notice a difference? Number 4. Heavy growing GDP. Do you know that as per analysts, India's GDP might overtake Germany in 2025 and Japan in 2027? After all, it'll rise to the position of third largest economy globally. Wow, right? As promised, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will transform India into a developing nation by 2047. Given that India will be commemorating its 100th anniversary of independence, it'll be a moment to remember. According to reports from the International Monetary Fund, India also outperformed Britain, its old colonial master, last year. Number 5. Strengthening its history. Every country has some internal dispute that may appear minor, but it weakens its very foundation. But this is where India thrived and reinforced the entire system. Even though people live within Indian borders, Jammu and Kashmir has its own set of rules. However, on the 5th of August 2019, the Modi government abolished Article 37, which was introduced on October 17, 1947. Kashmiris can now work in Indian offices and contribute to the economy. Private business entrepreneurs can now establish industries in Kashmir. Because the Kashmiris have a high crime rate, their working conditions used to be extremely tough. They do, however, have new hope. India is genuinely gathering all of its people to construct a new success tower. Even the country, under the Citizenship Act of 1955, made illegal migrants of Buddhism, Hinduism, Sikh and Jain faiths eligible for citizenship. These people came from Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan, among other locations. Again, with deeper ties to these people, not only will the nation's hand be strengthened, but people from different communities will now have a greater commitment to their own country. Number 6. Semiconductor hub. Have you heard about the global shortage of semiconductors that occurred during the pandemic? Extreme price fluctuations have undoubtedly been a source of concern for all countries, but that's where India's strategic intellect came in. It has now proposed a $10 billion budget for promoting itself as a semiconductor hub. If you didn't know, these chips are highly important for creating artificial intelligence-based products, 5G, quantum computing, and so on. Taiwan currently produces 90% of the world's premium semi-consumer chips, despite being in the heart of a trade war between the United States and China. Recently, Hanhai precision industry Foxconn joined forces with Vedanta to manufacture semiconductors in India. Currently, the country meets 5% of the worldwide demand for these chips. But according to Deloitte, their market share will reach $55 billion by 2026. Consider how, if this occurs, India will reduce countries like the United States' reliance on China for these resources. And if India has these manufacturing facilities, more and more corporations will be drawn to the country to establish a presence. Number 7. Ties with Russia. And who hasn't heard of the friendship between India and Russia? Even before the war with Ukraine began, most Western countries, including the United States, Japan, and others, attempted to convene an emergency summit with Japan to persuade the country to join the Democratic Power Alliance against Russia. As expected, there was no reaction at first. However, Prime Minister Modi did make a response in September, saying today's era is not of war. Nonetheless, the government voted against condemning Moscow's illegal annexation in the United States. To be honest, India is no longer playing the "let's make the world happy by sacrificing ourselves" game. However, its strategic relationship is far stronger than previously. When Russia ceased direct supply of natural resources such as oil to Ukraine and other European countries, India purchased these products, repackaged them under its brand, and resold them for 5 times the original price. Russia briefly surpassed Saudi Arabia and Iraq as the country's largest oil supplier. This demonstrates that the country is no longer content to play it safe, but is willing to take risks to any level. Number 8. Willing to die army. Do you know that in Indian culture, being in the army is regarded as an immense success? It represents something that no other career can offer, making it the most fulfilling employment. In contrast to China, where individuals are forced to join the army, Indians stand firm with the armed forces and are willing to die for the sake of their nation's security. The country has demonstrated its strength against its adversaries with missions such as the Balakot airstrikes, Operation Vijay, and Operation Madut. The true-life Operation Yuri against Pakistan illustrates the Indian Army's bravery. They penetrated deep into Pakistani villages and murdered the terrorists inside their own houses. You can also watch the movie based on that. The country possesses 1,905 planes, 6,500 tanks, and 15 submarines, with around 1,325,000 active frontline men. In reality, according to the Global Firepower Index, the country ranks 4th in terms of army strength. In addition, Air India has placed the world's largest aviation order for 2023. But once again, it is the willingness of the people to stand up for their country that makes it the strongest. Tumkura presently has the largest modern helicopter setup in all of Asia. The country possesses nuclear weapons and an unmatched missile defense system. Number 9. Make in India initiative. Previously, the country was heavily reliant on its neighbor, with practically every product coming from China. But then India established the Make in India project to produce goods in their own country. When comparing 2006 to 2014 to 2014 to 2022, foreign direct investment has increased by 57%. Every year, the manufacturing industry grew by 12 to 14%. In reality, this will result in the creation of millions of new employment in the future as well. As a result, China's share in the import basket has decreased from 15.43% to 13.79% in the fiscal year 2022 to 23 alone. Obviously, the country cannot entirely stop China, but its independence makes it incredibly powerful in the future. Number 10. Getting better in areas where it previously lacked. Did you know that India recently won 2 Oscars? In terms of achievements, the country also supplied 8 crore new water connections to households who are experiencing drinking water problems. It introduces E20 fuel. It even paid more attention to the women's cricket squad than ever before, supporting them in winning the inaugural U19 T20 World Cup. Number 11. Chandrayaan-3. India ended up setting the world record with its greatest scientific achievement, landing on the dark side of the moon, where no other probe had ever gone before. The South Pole, where the ISRO planned to land, now is the Pragyan rover moving about on the moon, making history. Not only will we learn the truth behind frozen form of water on the moon, but we'll also see a side of our natural satellite that we have never seen before. So with all of these benefits and great success from technology, business, and space exploration, India has actually exceeded many of the boundaries that have been placed on it over the years. Even while the country is once again the golden goose, there are still some things it lacks. The first is an outdated educational system that must be replaced and improved immediately. The second factor is bicycle culture. If you've ever been to India, you're familiar with being trapped in traffic. We feel that India can benefit from following in the footsteps of the Netherlands. Don't worry, we'll ping our video link right here so you may explore that in depth that issue. To summarize, we believe that India needs to rediscover its bike culture. Now that the country's obesity rate has increased by 50%, according to Apollo's annual report, we feel that replacing vehicles with bicycles can help citizens with their health challenges as well. Let us know what more you want to hear now that we've revealed a futuristic secret to you. Like the video and subscribe to our channel if you love the content we produce.